Welcome to the Black Women in Media Awards and Conference. I'm your moderator, Oni Higgins, and we're here at the Literature and Publishing panel. We have some amazing women who are joining us today. And first, we have Anna Nayakana, and she's an award-winning best-selling author, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur. All of her work has built the foundation for her Naya Zuri movement, which includes motivational speaking, events and engagements as she breathes life into the youth, women, and individuals to inspire them to live purposefully. Now we have Tanisha Brown, and she's the founder and editor in chief of Impact Magazine. The magazine has grown from hundreds of readers to hundreds of thousands of readers. Tanisha uses her passion to awaken those to understand of the power that they have within. And then lastly, we have Dr. Joan Wright Good, and she's an cultural architect of our time. She's a dynamic intellectual speaker and the founder and CEO of the Business Mogul Academy. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
me. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, so much information. You all have some inspiring stories to share with everyone tuning in. So I guess I just want to start out by you ladies just telling me, how exactly did you get to the moments that you are within your career right now? How did you guys get here? I'll start with you, Anna.
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. In a nutshell, I got here by not listening to all the no's that I was receiving left and right from the beginning of my career, of having this amazing book that I knew could really uplift our youth, inspire them to really believe in themselves, and also having knowledge of self and gain that, which is usually not taught in the classroom, really battling against indoctrination and finding a way to push against those no's, get my books into the curriculum, and then at the same time, breathe life into our youth. So I just stopped listening to the no's. I gave myself a yes, and I pushed forward. I continued that climb to my own personal summit, and now I have a broader vision, and I'm going to continue the work. So anyone that's feeling discouraged, I would definitely say not every door is closed. Sometimes you just need a push.
Yes. And what about you, Joan?
Thank you for asking that question. Well, I pretty much wanted to change the narrative for two sets of women. I wanted to change the narrative for girls who are pretty much abandoned by society, high school dropouts, and for women who have been in abusive relationships. I wanted to allow them to understand that just because they had a negative past, just because they did not get everything that they thought they should have gotten growing up, it doesn't mean the end of the world. They can pick themselves up. They can change the story. They can rewrite the story to read how they want it to read. They don't necessarily have to wait to be invited to the table. They can create their own table. And so that was why I started my businesses and how I ended up here today. And that's what I'm doing with everything, every platform that I go on. I insist on allowing women to feel the need, get the permission, give themselves permission to live and breathe how they want to do so.
Nice, amazing. And what about you, Tanisha? How did you become the founder of Impact Magazine?
Well, just through loving content, and wanting to see a better picture for Black men and women within my community. And then it ended up being, worldwide, just going back off of what Anya said, instead of me waiting for doors in the publishing world to open, I created what I wanted to see. I created what I knew and what I saw growing up. Black men and women coming together, pulling together, and helping each other, and whichever way we could. And that's what we show with the magazine. We display Black excellence.
Amazing. All of you ladies mentioned something important. You mentioned that you wanted to create and tell stories for Black women and Black men. How vital is that within this industry? I feel like oftentimes our stories have to be watered down, or we can't see girls who have the same type of hair as us on the cover. So how important is that for you ladies? I'll start with you, Joe.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. I think it's very important to have authentic representation in the Black community. If we don't, the thing is, if we don't understand or learn the lessons from history, we will repeat it. And so it is in our power to change the future to the history we want to see. We are living in a time where we are creating our own history. And if we don't change what we're seeing, if we don't change the narrative, then who's going to change it for us? There's no Black Panther coming to save us. There's no Superman coming to save us. We have to be our own superheroes. And so this is why it's very important to whatever we want to see, whatever we want our legacy to read. I often say to my clients, don't allow history to misrepresent you. You write your history that you want to see. You write the book that you want people to read about you. You write the legacy that you want to leave behind. You are responsible for yourself. Nobody's responsible for you. So it's very important that we create that which we want to see. We create that which we want the next generation to read about us. We create the path that we want the future to go in for the Black community. We cannot look at other races and other culture. We were gifted by God with what He has given us, and we have the magic to shine. And so we can't wait on other people to light our torch. We have to shine where we are.
Yes, that was powerful. Anna, Tanisha, do you ladies have anything to add in there?
Oh, absolutely. My entire Naya Zuri series is based on the fact that I could not find any characters that looked like me on the cover of books when I was growing up. That was something that never left me. It was so discouraging. I was also learning English at the time, coming and immigrating from Germany, my father being from Uganda, East Africa, and already not fitting in because I had the language barrier. So I couldn't understand why we were not represented, why our worth was not worth being captured in a narrative. So once again, like Joanne mentioned, I decided to change that narrative. So not only do my books have characters that look like them, I have a strong Black heroine that's leading the way. She's definitely not playing that damsel in distress role. She is figuring out how to problem solve, how to use her critical thinking skills, and really use the qualities that girls should be competitive about. Not the way they look or how they dress or, how their hair is styled, but how their mind is built, how critical it is that they are able to solve for themselves and really rescue themselves instead of waiting for that prince to come and save them. So all those things combined with the fact that I couldn't understand why children, especially children of color, did not understand their own history. Here in the US, it's pretty much quantified in the month of February. 28 days will give you a little bit of attention. And then after that, it's on with the curriculum. It's on with the standard. But then even so, in those 28 days, they're really only focusing on plantations and history of regret, history of pain, history of bondage, instead of history of our glorious empires and our kingdoms, and the fact that we were the first philosophers, the first dancers, the first doctors, the first artists, the first gods and goddesses on this planet, and we have birthed the world. So it's so critical. Children, especially children of color, our Black and brown kids, understand that that is the history that they come from, so they are worth it. They're worth it because it's captured in our literature, and they're worth it because now it can empower them and have them understand that they are beyond their zip code. That does not have to limit their possibilities in life, and they can actually achieve any dream they want by goal setting and really going after it and walking in their dreams now instead of just being lackadaisical and laying in bed, daydreaming all day. Society wants you to daydream because if we empower you with your history, well, then you'll go from daydreaming to actually walking in your dreams now and transforming the world.
And a force to be reckoned with.
Yes,
That's right. That's right. What about you, Tanisha?
Well, that's the reason why I created the magazine, because I wanted to have that power. I have the power to put on the cover who I desire, whose story I want to tell. I never forget, back in 2014, I had Angie Stone on the cover, and I showed her whole body. And when she saw the cover, she was crying because she said she's been on plenty of covers and she's never been seen from her whole body. And, that was just, crazy to me. And that's the reason why I'm in this, because we need to see ourselves of who we truly are.
Amazing. So, often as Black women, we're often overlooked for opportunities. We face a lot of barriers. We have to work 10 times harder just to get a quarter of a mile from a step.
Right.
Just talk to me on what are some hardships that you all may have faced in your career and how did you overcome them? I'll start with you, Tanisha.
Oh, sure. For me, it is a lot of times when you're getting to that level of like A-listers and B-listers, heavyweight singers. You see, I have Kelly Price here. You get into that level where some of these celebrities and influencers, they don't understand the power of Black media. So when you're dealing with publicists and managers who don't understand the power, the only magazines they know are Essence and Ebony. And those are the ones they categorize as, oh, we'll wait for them. But they don't understand the different genres and the different niches now that we have power with our audiences. So being a mighty, powerful publication that we are, those are some of the things that, you know, we come up against because you see the cover, you see is we Black excellence. We're showcasing great stories. We're speaking on different things outside of fashion, all those things. So all of these people, they're coming to us, or sometimes we go to them. And they want to do it, but then you have to go through either the manager or whomever make those decisions. And it's not necessarily the talent that's saying no, it is those two people. So those, you know, those people who say, well, no, we'll wait for Essence, or no, we'll wait for Ebony, or some kind of, you know, publication like that.
Nice. And Joan, what about you?
Well, for me, I don't see no's as no's. I see no's as not now or not ready yet. And for me, whenever I have any challenges, I've had challenges in the past, I usually take it to mean that maybe I'm not supposed to be collaborating with that person or that company. Maybe I'm not called to that person, they're not called to me. We already know that sometimes you come across people and you believe that they're, you know, their assignments when they're actually people that were either sent to bless you or people who were sent to teach you a lesson. And when we don't understand the place that people is supposed to take in our lives, we allow them to occupy space that they're not paying for. And so I learned that pretty early, that I had the power to decide my destiny, that as long as I have God on my side, whatever path that He's created for me, there's never a mistake. There is never any losses. There are always lessons. There are always processes. And so I learned that pretty early, that I have the power that it takes to take me to where I need to go. And so whenever whenever I have any challenges, I usually retreat, evaluate, and reevaluate. You know, what is my path in the whole process of things, and then I take it a little further after I get an answer. So I would say that for me, right now, I don't have a lot of challenges because my perception is a little bit different. Again, I don't see them as challenges. I see them as pretty much ladders that are supposed to take me to where I need to go. And when you understand that not all the times when you go through things, it's supposed to kill you. Sometimes it's supposed to strengthen you. And just like when you go into the gym to, you know, build those abs and build those muscles, these things come to build your acumen in business. It comes to build your tenacity. It comes to build your grit, because no one starts at one place and stays there. Like a plant grows, and in order for a plant to grow, it has to go through sunlight, it has to go through storms, it has to peek through dirt, you know, and we don't want dirt. You know, we think all the time that it's something negative. It's not, you know, and when you're growing, you're stretched to the highest capacity, and we don't like that. Sometimes you feel pain. Pain allows you to know that something big is coming. It's not all the time that something negative. Sometimes it's something big. And so I've taken those little cues and have them to work for me. So I would say to someone, remember that nothing grows in your comfort zone. So if you need to to get over challenges, you must recognize that these things come to strengthen you, to stretch you. Look at the positive. Look at the 20. Don't always look at the 80. Whatever is working over on the 20 side, take that and go with it. Take that and go with it. And obviously, you don't look at anybody else's journey. Look at your own. We were all gifted with something to bless this world. And if you constantly look at other people and what they're doing, you're pretty much becoming your own challenge. You're pretty much becoming your own blockage. You're pretty much becoming your own enemy. And you're looking at people, but the enemy is really on the inside of you. And so, but, you know, again, when I hear no's, I just look at it as like, you know, okay, we'll move on. I'll prepare my own yes.
Well, they definitely say a comparison is a thief of joy, for sure.
It is, for sure.
What about you, what are some obstacles that you might that you've been through that you've overcome?
I love this. I feel that all of us are so tapped into this universal knowledge and mindset that there are no such things as losses, just lessons. No such thing as obstacles, but actual opportunities.
That's
opportunities for growth, opportunities for sharpening and learning that new skill set. As I mentioned before, I really started and got to where I am now because of the fact that I got so many no's from publishers who were interested in my book, but wanted me to really change some of the core things about my book. In fact, they thought my book was too urban. They didn't like that the first series was going back to Africa. They wanted my heroine with this big, amazing curly hair to, you know, have a different type of more modern look. And these are, I'm using air quotes because these are the actual things that were said to me.
Wow.
But at the same time, I said, you know what? I'm going to take these no's. I'm going to turn them into my yes. I don't know anything about publishing, but I'm going to figure it out. And I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't quite know what I was doing at first, worked with a bunch of third parties and all these different services until I wisened up. And after experience, I learned what I needed to do to actually become my own publisher. Not only so I could re-release my own book on my own book imprint, but then create that legacy where I can continue to release books of authors that are also highlighting representation and telling our stories from our own narratives, because we understand how important it is that our history is captured and told by us, right? So really those obstacles and those situations that were coming up at first, they weren't obstacles. I did that growth. I did that because of the pressure. And a lot of people feel, oh, pressure busts pipe, but pressure also creates diamonds, right? And we are meant to shine. And even though those schools are saying, oh no, we don't have a budget. Oh no, it's too late to add your book into the curriculum. This isn't important. We don't talk about diversity in the classroom. Kids will learn, you know, however they learn. No, it's up to us as a society to ensure that we are instructing our children in the best ways possible. Mental health, figuring out a knowledge of self, self-confidence, anti-bullying, empowerment, and motivation. These are normally themes that are not actually highlighted in the school system, and that is not okay with me. I have to ensure that we have those conversations and the ability for children to understand that this child next to them should be loved at the highest level, just as they are loved. They should have empathy and sympathy. And really, ladies, those are the things and the core characteristics that would better the society. We probably would not have the 2020 that we have now if these were the things that we were taught growing up, right? So children of color and children who don't identify as color have a common understanding and just become more human and loving towards one another. So I saw all of those opportunities and I continued to push through. I knew that my story was important. I remembered that younger version of myself. I remembered the disparity of only having a few different options in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Either you end up in jail or you end up dead, or you end up maybe, if you're lucky, an athlete or like a rapper. That's basically it. So, you know, I survived all of those things. I didn't, you know, trip into maybe teen pregnancy or drug abuse or other things that I saw a lot of my friends go through. And I actually took those as opportunities to learn and say, okay, I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to support my friend and I'm going to ensure that I push forward for all of us. Because if I can make it out of here, you can make it out of here. And I refuse to let my zip code constrain me and tell me that these were the only 3 or 4 options that were going to actually work out for me. So when I received those situations that were trying, I pushed ahead because I understand my worth and I understand my value. And those are the things that I teach to all of my youth, all of my women, really anyone who comes into contact with me. My fundamental truths of Naya Zuri is that nothing is impossible. Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it can't be done. You can be the first.
That's right.
Yes, we love to see it. We love to hear it. So, ladies, I have a question. Our theme for this year is pivot. And, you know, a lot of us, we pivot, we change directions and everything that we do now with since the pandemic, with being quarantined. So, what are some ways that you ladies have pivoted within your career, within your everyday life? Anyone can jump in. I won't.
Well, for my company, I have two companies, Business Startup and Marketing Solutions. We pretty much help entrepreneurs to start six-figure businesses, and we help them to sustain that through marketing and branding. And then I have JWG Publishing House. We've been pretty proactive in terms of marketing and branding. So we did not have to do much pivoting during the pandemic. I often tell my clients and my students that you don't wait for a storm to happen to prepare for the storm. You build your ark before the rain comes. And so we live by that motto. We live by that mantra that every last one of our clients understand that we care. A lot of companies are now showing that they care during the pandemic. And I'm wanting to think, okay, I hope they continue that trend after the pandemic, because because that's when the true, you know, the authentic, authenticity will come out. Like, were you just caring because we were going through a pandemic and you wanted to keep your coins? So we were very proactive. Every week, my team does courtesy calls. So all of our clients, I have a full team that every week, every Friday we do courtesy calls. Our clients know to expect those calls, to expect those texts, just checking in to see how things are going. Are they happy with the brand? What can we do differently? Because this also helps us. It's not just for them. It helps us to grow our brand to the position where our clients are satisfied. Because we do understand that in business, it's not about us, it's about them. Once we give them value, we don't have to sell. Once we allow them to understand that these are the benefits, we are providing a solution that you can't find anywhere else. That's our unique value proposition. We are doing this thing to, where you know, wherever you go, you won't find this little secret sauce. You know, my oxtail tastes way different than when you go anywhere else. So we've been doing that, but we've also amped up the educational arm of what we do. We've been doing a lot of Facebook Lives, a lot of training, free training. During this pandemic, we've trained over 350 entrepreneurs for free on how to start their businesses. So we've amped that up because we understand that everybody does not have the money to pay for coaching. And so we decided to give that back to the community to create that value added service. We've also been giving our clients a lot of insider information. So, you know, like helping them to understand the publishing process, helping them to understand the difference between a hybrid publisher, traditional publisher, and self-publishing, the pros and the cons, helping them to understand that just because you can self-publish doesn't mean that you need to go to Amazon to self-publish, because you lock yourself into an Amazon ISBN, and then you're thinking that, oh, I'm going to be a bestseller because I'm on Amazon, but there are so many other platforms that you can be a bestseller on. So we've been doing that, educating our clients. And what else? We've also rebranded. We rebranded our signature products. So, you know, the products that were like $25,000, we rebranded them, and we kind of broke those up into packages that, you know, were more affordable for people's budget during this time. So that's pretty much how we've pivoted and collaborated with some other brands to make sure that people are getting value for their money, but they're also seeing that there are brands out there that believe in them and believe in serving the community. So that's how we've pivoted during this time.
Thanks. And what about you, Anna?
Well, a lot of what I did prior to COVID was actually going into the schools and doing in-person author events, speaking events, really motivating our youth, conferences, summits, and the such. So quarantine tried to shut me down. But you know what? I found a way to think outside of the box, and I was already comfortable doing virtual events. So I said, well, I'm just going to capitalize on the fact that I have the skill set, I have the technology, I have the setup, and I invested a little bit more. So I would have like lighting and backdrops and connectivity up the, you know, Wi-Fi and things like that sort. And I said, well, I'm going to continue the work. I shouldn't find a way to just get stuck and comfortable and, you know, turn on the Netflix. No, I need to go more than just survive in this quarantine, but really thrive in this quarantine. I have to stay connected to my young readers. I have to stay connected to my Naya Zuri tribe and continue to get the message out there and get that movement out there. So I just started doing virtual events. I thought outside the box, ended up launching a virtual summer camp, which I had never done before, and just continued to partner with schools and nonprofits and just did everything through Zooms. I did like one-on-one consultations with young writers and writers workshops and things like that, even through FaceTime. You know, when there is a will, there really is a way. And I'm so passionate about staying connected with my readers and, like I said, and my tribe, that I refuse to let quarantine shut me down. Definitely amped up all the IG lives. I'm doing like 1 or 2 a week, continuing, you know, interviews and podcasts and things of that sort. But really, quarantine gave me a focus on engagement, how to really become more personal with my tribe and with those that support me, to find out what's going into their lives, motivate them, empower them, offer like mentoring services for those that I really believe in. I see all these entrepreneurs and creatives, especially our young women that are out there just producing these amazing businesses and products and services, and wanting to knowledge share, because like John mentioned, there's plenty of room at this table. I don't want to be at the table alone. I'm thankful that all of you are already there, and there's more than enough room, and we shouldn't have that mentality of, you know, just one person at a time. We should be pulling up those, once we get to that higher peak, we should be pulling up those underneath us, because they're also struggling. But guess what? We are strong. We can pull them up and really show them the way as well. So quarantine was an amazing way for me to pivot in my engagement, pivot in my connectivity, and stay and just remaining in connection really with my tribe and with my readers, and understanding that there's always a way to not limit yourself. You are the only person who can limit yourself. So why would you even go that route? And that was just something that I would constantly check myself every day and saying, okay, I may not be able to go the traditional route. What's another way I can get these books to these kids and get them signed? I don't care if I have to stay up all night. I will sign 300 books. I will get carpal tunnel. We'll package them all up and we'll drop them off at a location where they can be picked up, because the mission, the passion, the purpose cannot be outweighed or not be destroyed by this COVID, by protesting, or by anything else that's being thrown on us, because it's bigger than me. It's not just about me. This mission is bigger than myself. And I feel all of us, and really all of the women that are a part of this conference, are working fundamentally to that global progression.
Definitely a lot of thinking outside of the box, for sure. What about you, Tanisha? How have you pivoted during this time?
2 words that they both said were amped up and connection. And that's what I had to do with our readers who follow us, is to amp up the connection that we have with each other. And that was through lives and doing that. The magazine is already in digital and print. So we were fine digitally, you know, going and doing that part. But the connection with the readers, it was a disconnect. So within that time, I was able to go. I called on all my buddies like David Banner and Cynthia and some businesses that I know. And we all just for 30 days went live every day, speaking on great topics. You know, her and Mike Hill were getting married and just talking about the Black male and female dynamic. David Banner was on speaking about his manager and how they make decisions with each other, and just talking about things of substance that really made the connection great and the engagement even more with the readers, and also being able to give different businesses the platform to come on and be in front of our audience. I have Vanessa Simmons. She's starting with pastry again. And so she made the announcement with me, and she had a code for the sneakers. And I spoke to her team because, oh, I forgot to say, I've developed a TV network also out of this great thing. So that's what I meant by enhance. So when I was speaking to her team to have her on for our 2nd season, her marketing manager was like, yeah, when she was on and, you know, you guys were talking and they used that impact code, Yo, the sales were amazing. So it gave businesses that opportunity for our readers to see, because one thing I pride myself on about my readers, and I take heed to that, if I put a business in front of them and they're, comfortable and they know we like really vet our people and make sure the business is on the up and up as much as possible as we can. It's like an amazing thing to have your product in front of there. We had Tabitha Brown. So it's like being engaged, amped up, and connected to our readers and stuff. And that is the biggest thing that we had to pivot to and build the brand even higher with the TV network.
Amazing. And I'm sure business was able to boom a lot with supporting Black Initiative and buying Black 30 days. So I'm happy that business was able to still be successful for you guys, even amidst a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah. So if you had a piece of advice for maybe some young females or young Black people in general who want to get into this industry, what would that advice be? I see you guys. Oh, yeah.
Look, I'll go first. This is my favorite question. My thing, if you want to be in this industry, as far as magazine communications, I say for you to do your research, know who you want to speak to, understand that content changes by the second now. Information changes every time you look up. So you have to understand your niche of readers, and you have to speak to them on the information that you want to bring out. So do your research, understand your demographics, understand that you have to market to them, understand that you have to advertise, understand all of those components of this business, and not just want to be in front of celebrities or want people to look at you because you're telling a story or whatever. This is something that is truly work. And you have to, I say, research the greats. When I came out, I researched Susan L. Taylor and John Johnson. Susan L. Taylor, the echelon of Essence. This is why we know Essence to be what it is today. And John Johnson, same thing, his company for Ebony Magazine. So I researched them, researched the greats in this business and how they ran, and then look at the people who are doing it now, like Morgan DeBron and Blavity and all of these things. Whatever you have to do your research and understand your niche of people, because there is a specific group of people for you, specifically for you, for what you want to do if you are getting into this business.
Okay, so not just talking the talk, but walking the walk too.
Right, and do the work. You got to research it. So, like, Trump is crazy, but it is, you know what I mean? Like, it is some fake news that you really got to look over and really. That's why when stuff come out, we don't jump on it. Just I have to. We got to look and make sure this information is correct, because if I don't want to be a part of that, we're putting out the wrong news, the wrong information. So
That's
the advice.
What about you, Anna?
I love it. So I'll keep my tips pretty simple as well. As John mentioned, definitely, number one, do your research. If you want to get into the literary publishing world, even if maybe you just want to be an author and maybe not so much publishing, whatever it is, understand what it is that you're doing. Understand the writing process, understand the publishing process, understand what it is, how you find a printing vendor, how you can purchase your own ISBN, how you can set up your own distribution. Once you have that knowledge, then you can apply it. But you don't want to just freehand things. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your money. You don't want to waste anyone else's time and anyone else's money. And really, the way of the world right now and where we're living, time is of the essence. The time is now to really be present and be purposeful. So the last thing you want to do is be wasting anything. You need to be more resourceful now more than ever. And if you're not too good with researching, you can always find a mentor that is maybe doing something already in that publishing or literary world that you can call on. You can call any one of us ladies, or you can even just take a look at our track record and kind of see, well, where did they start and how did they kind of move and operate? You know, and at the second tip I would definitely say is know your passion. Understand why it is you want to do this in the first place. Your passion will really be your true north. It'll serve as that compass for you when you are going through those obstacles to realize that they're opportunities for you. But your passion is really going to be what anchors you and something that you're going to draw from each and every day to keep yourself focused on the work, keep yourself focused on the impact, and keep yourself focused on why you even made this journey to begin with. Everyone is entitled to their own destiny. You cannot get distracted. You can't get sidelined because you forgot why you even started this journey to begin with. So understand your purpose, do your research so you can apply the knowledge. And really that is the winning combination. And like I always say, hashtag no days off, ladies. No days off.
What about you, Joan?
I love this question as well because, as you know, I wear different hats, different CEOs. A CEO of different businesses, so it's always a multifaceted question. So for me, on the business side, I would say make sure that you focus on creating brand experience for your clients. If you're thinking about starting a business, a brand will always outlast a business. A brand will always outlast a business. If you think about some businesses that have long gone on, you still remember the logo, you still remember the experience, you still remember how the food tasted, how the people made you feel. So you want to create brand experience for your clients when you're thinking of going into business. So that's very important. You also want to know that your brand and your book does three things: educate, inspire, and entertain. Okay, educate, inspire, and entertain. So you want to know that. As it relates to a book, I often say to people, not because you have a story means you have a book. And not because you put out a book means you have a story. So you need to know what you're called to do, because you don't have to go the author route. If you just like, I don't want to butcher your name, but just like my panel friend here, you may have the ability to write, but you could be a magazine creator. You could be, a magazine publisher. You could be some other content writer. So know what you're called to do, because as an author, you have to make sure that you have an objective, you have a goal, you have a desired goal, and you have the right audience. Your desired goal is different from your regular goal. Your objective is for your readers, for your audience. Your desired goal is, what do you want out of this? Why are you writing this book? It should be bigger than just creating a tribe. It should be bigger than just putting your name in lights. It should be bigger than your own purpose. I often say, if what you do is just for yourself, then your purpose is not big enough. It's not big enough. So you want to move from dream to vision. You want to move from dream to vision, and know that not everybody don't allow everybody to touch your vision. Everybody is not equipped to touch your vision. So you want to know the people you're around. So those are the things that I would say. If you want to write a book, you need to make sure you know your objective, you know your desired goal, you know your audience. You think about marketing, you think about promotion, you research, you copyright, you talk to the right people. Don't just go to Google. You want to talk to an expert. You want to make sure that you're talking to experts. You want to make sure that you stay away from cheerleaders and you find a coach. Cheerleaders cheer for you even when you're losing the game. Your coach has your best interest at heart. So you want to make sure that you take these little tips and you run with them. If you're planning on being a publisher, again, I know the time is going. You can go to my page. You can research what I do. I publish children's book, adult books, but you want to make sure, again, that you do your research and know what type of publishing services you want to offer, because the publishing community is so vast, it's so big. And if you don't do your research, you'll end up making a lot of mistakes. So you want to make sure that you do your research and apply the knowledge that you've learned, because knowledge in and of itself is not power. Applied knowledge is the power.
Love it. Love it. So ladies, I want to leave here with one question. If you had one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, not so younger self, advice, what would that be?
Hmm.
Did you say our younger self?
Yeah, I said not so younger because not.
I personally don't know if I would change anything about my journey.
Mhm.
I absolutely believe that everything that was supposed to happen happened for a purpose, on purpose. And so I would not change anything. I would not change the abuse. I would not change the mistakes because they were lessons. They have made me into such a strong person. I mean, literally a strong person. The things that I have endured have taken out so many people, so many people. Again, we spoke about this at my fireside chat. I literally is coming from a murder suicide plot. So these things I believe has built the tenacity that I have. When I hear no's and challenges in business, I don't back down because it has made me stronger. It has opened my eyes. It has awoken my senses to knowing who I am and the power that I have within me, so that I can go and empower somebody else. If you don't have these kind of challenges, you don't have the grit that it takes. You don't have what it takes to make sure that you fight a good fight and that you finish the course. And so I believe that everything that happened on purpose. So I personally would not change anything.
Stop stealing my answers, Joanne. Stop stealing my answers.
Great minds think alike.
Like spirit, like spirit.
Similar. I actually just wrote a piece for Medium, and it was an ode to my younger self. And essentially, I'm saying in songwriting form to my younger self to just stay on course. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything of the way I grew up. I wouldn't change the fact that, my family and I came here, family of 5, 2 suitcases with all of our belongings, that we came here really also fleeing persecution, and that we came here, and I grew up in the projects, and I went to a low performing school that had low resources. I mean, low resources. We didn't even have enough money to go on a field trip. Everybody was fighting over the chocolate milk, but it made me who I am. If I couldn't find books with anyone that looked like me, I wouldn't have had that seed that then germinated into the wonderful harvest and bounty that is now the Nayazuri movement and the books and the soon-to-be cartoon and everything else that's coming out of it. So I would not veer off course. I believe that our lives are the culmination of all of our experiences. So I would not have that grit or that grind or hustle mentality. I don't believe that I would even be as disciplined as I am now to say no days off, because my purpose is so tied, it's so rooted in me. My childhood and how I grew up and all the experiences that I had really anchor me. And that is the flame that I constantly have every day, and how I can take that flame and spark it in another youth, because I understand the trauma that you've gone through, young boy or young girl. I understand the disparity. I understand the setback that you think that you are in because of society or because of your economic status. But those are not the things that define you. You define yourself. You assign the value to yourself. So I would not change anything whatsoever. It made me who I am. And this, I believe, is my fullest potential. So if I can do it, anyone else can do it. And what an amazing example it is to be able to get in front of any individual, especially a child, and say, I made it out of here. You can make it out of here. Don't deny yourself your fullest potential.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, that's amazing.
I stole your answer too, huh?
No, it's just so inspiring to hear everything. I do agree with them that I don't want to change anything, but what I would say to myself, the advice that I would give myself, that I could have that memory as I'm going through, is that I can do it, be confident, and everything is going to work out for your good.
That's right.
Nice.
I don't need to say nothing else. They done said everything. They done said exactly what it is. But just that advice I would give to myself as I'm going through, because if I didn't go through each level of my life and each stage, I wouldn't be this person, who is steadfast, who understands, who people come to and tell their secrets. Child, I'll be thinking sometimes I should have been psychiatrist, like, Lord. But it's such a humbling, great experience that people can share their story, share their journey, and want to do that with you.
Mm-hmm.
And trust you.
and trust you with that.
Right.
So I wouldn't change a thing. I would just give myself that advice as I'm going through, that I can do it, be confident, and everything works out for you good.
Amazing, amazing. Well, ladies, I want you all to share how we can connect with you, whether that's a website, social media handles, or or email. Your email. How can we connect with you? How can everyone who's joining us and find you? I'll start with you, Anna.
Okay, I'll jump in. So you can keep up with me. You can order, I'll put it in here, my book series. You can order the apparel. You can download free parent and teacher resources to actually work on things at home with your kiddos at my website, www.ananayakana.com. And come to the website and get the book versus Amazon or anywhere else, because you will actually get a personalized autographed copy from me. If you order 5 books for 5 kids, I will personalize one for every single child that receive it. Personalized message and really get them connected with that. You can also follow me on all social media platforms at Naya, NIYAH _Zuri, ZURI. Join the tribe and shout out to the Naya Zuri tribe.
What about you, Joe?
Okay, so Naya taught me something. I just wanted, I'm like, since we're going to go here. Okay, so you can find me on social media at joanwritegood.com. You can find me on Facebook at drjoanwritegood.com. On my websites, because I didn't get a chance to talk about my books, you can get all of my books. My first book that talks about my tragic story from brokenness to victory, the price of my breakthrough. And then my second book is You Are Different for a Reason. I know you like that, Anna.
Yes.
Maximize your difference. And then the third one is What If You Decided to Grow? What If You Decided to Grow? And I have some other publications. So you can find me at Dr. Joan Wright Good on Facebook and Joan Wright Good on all other platforms. Our publishing company on Instagram is JWG Publishing House. And the business website, the business is also on Instagram as at business marketing. I think business marketing. And then the magazine company is Multiple Streams Magazine on Instagram as well. My website is Business Startup Academy.live, and my personal website is joanwritegood.com.
Love it. And what about you, Tanisha?
Awesome. So you guys see Impact Magazine here. You can follow us on all social media as Impact Magazine. And for me personally, it's Moments with Tunisha, TUNISHA. And the website is, everybody knew but it's theimpactmagazine.com.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. The conversation was amazing. You ladies, like I love you all.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I just made two new girlfriends.
Yes.
All women in media.
Amen.
Continue to be fierce, ladies. I love all of you.
Love you too.
Thank you. This was amazing, and thank you for having me.
Of course. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.